Imagine two people. They're the same age, they earn about the same income, they live in the same city, and over the next 10 years, one quietly builds wealth. The other spends almost every month wondering where all their money went. Here's the surprising part. The difference wasn't their salary, it wasn't their intelligence, it wasn't how hard they worked. It came down to one financial decision they made before turning 30, buying a house. You've probably heard the advice countless times. Stop renting, you're just paying someone else's mortgage. The sooner you buy, the sooner you start building wealth. It sounds sensible, so sensible that millions of people never stop to question it. But here's something that might surprise you. Buying a house too early can actually delay your financial progress. Not because home ownership is a bad idea, but because timing matters far more than most people realize, and almost nobody explains why. Because the real cost of buying a house isn't the number you see on the listing, it's everything hiding underneath it. Imagine someone in his mid-20s. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus rents a small apartment. Every month, part of his paycheck disappears into rent. His friends keep telling him he's wasting money, that he should be building equity instead. His parents call renting throwing money away. Slowly, renting starts to feel like failure. Buying starts to feel like success. But feelings aren't financial plans. So before Marcus signs anything, let's ask a question almost nobody asks. What actually changes the moment you become a homeowner? Most people answer, a mortgage. They're only partly right. Because a mortgage is just the beginning. The day you buy a house, you don't simply gain a home, you inherit a long list of responsibilities. Property taxes, homeowner's insurance, maintenance, unexpected repairs, a roof that won't last forever. None of those costs appear in the number that convinced you to schedule the viewing, and yet they're just as real as the mortgage itself. Let's look at a simple example. Suppose you buy a $300,000 home with a 20% down payment. That leaves you with a $240,000 mortgage. At an interest rate of around 6.5% over 30 years, your monthly principal and interest payment is roughly $1,500. At first glance, that doesn't sound too bad. It's the number most buyers focus on. It's the number lenders advertise. But here's what almost nobody tells you. That monthly mortgage payment isn't actually your monthly housing cost. Property taxes might add another $300 to $500 every month, homeowner's insurance another hundreds, sometimes more. If your down payment is smaller, private mortgage insurance quietly joins the bill too. Suddenly that $1,500 payment starts looking a lot closer to $2,000 or even $2,200 every month, and that's before anything breaks. Now imagine this. Marcus finally moves into his new house. Fresh paint, new furniture, friends over to celebrate. For a few months, life is exactly how he imagined it. Then one cold morning, there's no hot water. The water heater has failed. The repair bill is over $2,000. 3 months later, the air conditioning stops working, right in the middle of summer. Another unexpected bill. Suddenly, the emergency fund he spent years building is disappearing faster than he ever expected. That's the moment many first-time homeowners discover something important. When you rent, you call the landlord. When you own, you are the landlord. You're the maintenance department. You're the repair fund. Every surprise belongs to you. Financial writer Morgan Housel once pointed out that the true cost of anything isn't just the price you pay, it's everything you give up to own it. A house isn't just one purchase, it's years of financial commitments stacked on top of one another. And yet, many people decide to buy after comparing only one number, the mortgage payment. That's like judging the cost of owning a car by looking only at the monthly financing, while ignoring fuel, insurance, and repairs. It isn't the whole picture, not even close.
So why do so many intelligent people still rush into buying before they're financially ready? Because the biggest cost isn't property taxes, it isn't maintenance, it isn't the mortgage either. It's something far less obvious, something you never receive a bill for, but that quietly costs you every single month. It's called opportunity cost, and once you understand it, you'll never look at buying versus renting the same way again. So what exactly is opportunity cost? It's one of the simplest ideas in finance and one of the most expensive to ignore. Opportunity cost is the value of what you give up every time you choose one option instead of another. Every dollar has a job. If you send that dollar toward one goal, it can no longer work somewhere else. That doesn't automatically make your decision wrong, but it does mean every financial choice has a hidden price. Let's go back to Marcus. Imagine he has a friend named Elena. They're both 26, they earn similar salaries. Marcus buys a house as soon as he qualifies for a mortgage. Elena decides to keep renting a little longer. At first, it looks like Marcus is winning. He owns a home, Elena still rents. But financial decisions aren't judged after 6 months. They're judged over years. Let's run the numbers. Suppose Marcus's total monthly housing cost, including taxes, insurance, and maintenance, comes to around $2,100. Elena's rent is $1,800. That's a difference of $300 every month. Now imagine Elena doesn't spend that extra money. She invests it, month after month, into a diversified, low-cost index fund. Nothing exciting, just consistent investing. Over 5 years, those monthly investments could grow to more than $22,000, assuming returns close to long-term historical stock market averages. That's money she still controls, money she can access if life changes. Meanwhile, Marcus has been making every mortgage payment on time. Surely he's building wealth too, right? Yes, but probably not as quickly as he expected. Here's something many first-time buyers don't realize. During the early years of a 30-year mortgage, most of your payment doesn't reduce the loan. It pays interest. On a $240,000 mortgage at around 6.5%, more than $15,000 of your payments during the first year can go toward interest alone. Only a small portion actually reduces what you owe. That means your home equity grows much slower than most people imagine. Now imagine something unexpected happens. 5 years later, Marcus receives an incredible job offer in a different city. There's only one problem. Selling his house would cost money. Closing costs, legal fees, real estate commissions. Depending on the market, those costs can easily consume 6 to 10% of the home's selling price. Suddenly, accepting a better future becomes far more complicated. Elena doesn't have that problem. She simply gives notice on her apartment, packs her belongings, and moves. The flexibility she kept turned out to have value too, a value that never appeared on a mortgage calculator. Now let's be clear, this doesn't mean renting is always better, and it certainly doesn't mean buying is a mistake. It means that timing matters, because buying before you're financially prepared doesn't just increase your monthly expenses, it reduces your options. There's another assumption people rarely question, that houses always go up in value. Over long periods, real estate has generally appreciated, but not every neighborhood, not every city, and certainly not every 5-year period. Housing markets can slow down, they can stagnate. If you buy and need to sell only a few years later, there's no guarantee you'll walk away with a profit. Investor Warren Buffett once said that risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Buying a house too early, without understanding the full cost, isn't usually reckless, it's simply incomplete. Here's the truth. The question isn't, can I afford the monthly payment? That's the question banks ask. A much better question is this: what opportunities am I giving up by making this decision today? Because every financial decision has a cost. Some costs appear on your bank statement, others appear in the opportunities you never get to take. That's the hidden cost almost nobody talks about. But waiting to buy forever isn't the answer either. For many people, buying a home becomes one of the best financial decisions they'll ever make. The real question is, how do you know when you're actually ready? The answer is probably much simpler than most people expect. Buying a home makes sense when the numbers work, not when your friends are buying, not when social media tells you it's time. Buying makes sense when you're financially prepared for everything that comes with ownership: a stable income, a healthy emergency fund, a down payment that keeps your monthly costs manageable, and perhaps most importantly, a realistic plan to stay in that home long enough for the math to work in your favor. Because here's something many people overlook: The biggest advantage of owning a home isn't what happens during the first year, it's what happens over the next 10, 15, or even 20 years. Time is what allows appreciation to compound. Time is what slowly shifts your mortgage payments away from interest and toward equity. Without enough time, many of those advantages never have the chance to appear. Let's go back to Marcus one more time. Imagine he had waited just 3 more years. During that time, he builds a larger emergency fund, pays off his high-interest debt, and saves a bigger down payment. Now, when he finally buys his first home, the experience feels completely different. The monthly payments fit comfortably into his budget, unexpected repairs are frustrating but not financially devastating. Same house, same market, completely different outcome. The difference wasn't luck, it was preparation. This is why the question was never, is renting better than buying? That's the wrong question. The better question is, am I financially ready to own this particular home right now? Because buying too early can delay wealth, but buying at the right time can help protect it. Here's a simple framework you can remember. Before buying a home, ask yourself 4 questions. First, can I comfortably afford the full monthly cost, not just the mortgage? Second, if something expensive breaks next month, could I pay for it without going into debt? Third, am I likely to stay here at least 5 to 7 years? And finally, if I waited another year, would my financial position improve or simply delay a decision I'm already prepared to make? Those 4 questions will tell you far more than any online mortgage calculator ever will. Now think back to the beginning of this video. Remember Marcus standing outside his apartment, wondering if renting meant he was falling behind? The truth is, he was never behind. He was simply deciding when to take one of the biggest financial steps of his life. Because wealth isn't built by rushing toward milestones, it's built by making good decisions at the right time. Buying a home doesn't automatically make you wealthy. Renting doesn't automatically keep you poor. A home is neither a guaranteed investment nor a guaranteed mistake. Its value depends on your income, your goals, your flexibility, and your timing. So the next time someone tells you that renting is just throwing money away, pause and ask one simple question. Compared to what? Compared to buying a home you aren't financially prepared to own? Compared to giving up career opportunities because moving has become too expensive? Sometimes renting is expensive, sometimes buying is expensive. The smartest choice isn't the one that sounds impressive, it's the one that leaves your future self in the strongest financial position possible. Because the real cost of buying a home too early was never just the mortgage payment, it was every opportunity you gave up, every dollar that could have worked somewhere else, and every decision made before you were financially ready. Buying a home doesn't make you wealthy. Buying the right home at the right time for the right reasons just might. And those 3 words, the right time, can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime.